Greetings, friends. Today is July 9th, 2020. I came upon this spot a few weeks ago. I crossed this bridge near Graceville Road and saw the Juniata River and thought, wow, what a beautiful, beautiful spot. So I came back today to spend some time eating a light lunch and taking some time for prayer here by the river, by the waterside. It's a beautiful, beautiful location. I want to welcome you into this midweek reflection. Today, it was about halfway through the morning, I was doing an email and I wrote the date, July 9th, and I thought, oh my goodness, today is the day. It was 3 years ago today that I took a bike ride. It was Sunday afternoon. I took a bike ride after church. I took a nap, I kind of took it easy, and then later in the afternoon, I said, hey, I'm gonna go for a bike ride. My wife Amy didn't feel like going long. Her knees were bothering her a lot then, and I got on my bike, rode 12 miles. It wasn't easy to cipher up the trail, up the H&BT trail and back Route 26 to our house. Afterwards, I was tired, I was hot, and then the pressure started. I started to feel this pain in my chest. And I took an aspirin, I took a drink, I went out on the back porch, I propped my feet up, and it was probably after 10 or 15 minutes, I finally told Amy, you know, my chest is hurting. And she says, do you want to go to the hospital? And I kind of reluctantly agreed. Thankfully, I did agree. We went to Bedford, and before you know it, they called for the helicopter. They had me in the air to Altoona, and within 2 hours after this pain started, I had a stent in my right descending coronary artery. And I'm thankful it wasn't the left. That could have been much more serious. Funny that it started after exercise. You know, I was relaxing, sitting, and apparently when you exercise, your blood pressure is much higher, and it was forcing the blood through. When I stopped, when I rested, that's when the blockage deprived the muscle of blood. And I am so thankful that everything went well. But by the next day, the doctor said, I think you're going to be okay. You can go home if you want. And what am I allowed to do? Well, you can do whatever you feel like. Amy didn't hear that speech from Dr. Jabor. So she guarded me quite a bit that summer. But it was a stressful time. It was after moving to a new church, moving our homes, getting to know people, and I am so thankful that everything has turned out so well. I have just very minor effects from it. My ejection fracture was back in the normal range by 3 months after the heart attack, and I am so thankful. But that experience makes me thankful again for the day. It makes me thankful to be alive, and it makes me a little more mindful of what my purpose is here. What does God have in store for me to be doing? And I hope at this moment I'm to be here on the banks of the Juniata River praying, but also sharing some thoughts about life, about the journey. I hope that heart attack was really the culmination of my neglect. I neglected my cholesterol for a while, for like 10 years. My plan was to conquer cholesterol by jogging, and it didn't work very well. So I finally started on the statins, and I'm doing so well. I would recommend them to anyone who's got a high cholesterol that's even borderline. As far as the spiritual journey, I wanted to invite you to think about a verse. It's Isaiah 10, 1 and 2. It talks about, I read it yesterday, it talks about this term, this phrase, iniquitous decrees. Thought about that, iniquitous decrees. I'm not sure why the translators chose those words. It seems a little hard to grasp. I think what they're talking about are sinful rules, sinful guidelines, sinful norms, sinful cultural norms. Cultural norms are kind of tricky because they're norms. We begin to take them for granted. We begin to understand that this is the way of life, and sometimes norms become so ingrained that we can't imagine life any other way. That's how it was with slavery back in the day. People couldn't imagine another way. That's the example that came to me of of an iniquitous decree, a law or a norm that was wrong for many people. And the verse goes on to talk about justice, about using cultural norms or in sinful decrees. I know it would be hard for us to even agree on what those would be today, but I want to invite you to think about it. Think about what may have become normal for us that actually is harmful to some. Whether that's in our congregations or in our communities, in our culture, in our world. I think the way of Jesus, again and again, we came to see the way of Jesus as the way of loving God, worshiping God, and taking care of each other. Any norms that we might allow to creep into our lives or into our ways of being that don't fulfill those. Another verse was from James where it says, this is what true religion is. Take care of the widows, take care of the orphans, and try not to get too entangled in the world. How's that for simple? Take care of each other and love God. I hope this gives you something to think about. I hope you're enjoying good health today. I hope you have a strong heart, and I pray for God's shalom to bless you and keep you and sustain you through this difficult time. God bless.